It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone to face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of the Youth Baseball Midwest Pressbox, powered by our good friends at Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Had a great weekend. Got to go check it out. We were at Ballparks of America. It was a lot of fun. Had some really good interviews, some fun baseball. Tomorrow, we'll be doing our live tournament wrap-up show. We got some highlights. We got more interviews to bring you. We got some helmet stickers to give away. Lots of fun. Check it out. Make sure you subscribed to Youth Baseball Midwest. Get all this fantastic content. Hit the dinger. It's not a home run, but it does get you notifications for great episodes just like this, and we appreciate your support. Like this, if you enjoy the content, share it out. Leave us a comment. You're going to have to tell us, right off the get. I want to introduce one of our YBM insiders, Joe Hartke from over at Vianney High School. Joe, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Brian, I'm good. How about you?
Doing good. Check out Joe's latest article. He's talking districts over there with Vianney, Sloop, the top two teams there. CBC, which I don't think you can sleep on CBC. We'll get to some of that. You got DeSmet and Chaminade. So go check that out. Article, it's up right now at youthbaseballmidwest.com. Click on the heading, the press box, and go check out his article. It's a really good read. So, Joe, again, like I said, this is going to be lots of fun here. We want to see what other people have to think. Who's going to win the districts, right? Who's going to the championship?
Yeah, that's what it's all about when we get to this part of the season.
Exactly. I want to know what you think. Give us your take on what we got here. So make sure you're commenting below. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think so, but, you never can tell. Yeah, that's the way we roll. Anywho, I want to open up with the National High School Baseball Coaches Association poll. Has 3 Missouri teams in the top 50. At number 46 is Joe's very own St. John Vianney Griffins. At number 24 is our good friends from across, or just right down the 70 corridor, from Staley High School, the Falcons, at number 24. And then I think personally, my humble take on this, my thought is I think the favorite for the state championship, number 16, Francis Howell, the Vikings. They're at number 16 nationally in this poll. So I think that's a very interesting poll. You see 3 teams. I think that's pretty impressive, don't you, Joe?
Oh, absolutely. It shows that Missouri high school baseball is pretty serious.
Yeah. Well, 16 and 24 out of 50 nationally, that's impressive. And then even 50, I mean, at 46, Vianney. And I I don't know who's doing the polls. This is a coach's poll. How many vote and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what the parameters are or anything like that. But, maybe Vianney could be there. They've lost 1 game. So, and they play a tough schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We will see. Let's catch you up on some scores around the area. Orchard Farm, St. Charles West were duking it out in the District 6 semifinals. My good buddy Mitch Thomas, who will be joining us here after as soon as he gets done with some lessons and whatnot, has to pay the bills, right? Texted me and said St. Charles West walked it off. Brady Kilker, shout out, Big Kilker. Love you, buddy. 2-run bomb, walked it off. 9-8 was the final. And that, to me, is pretty impressive. That was, I always think, St. Charles West, we'll get into that, but I want to get an update there. Around here, Kennett, District 4 is up 1-0 over number 1 seed Dexter. The Saxony Crusaders are down 6-2 to Scott City Varsity Rams, which in Class 3, I think Scott City's one of the favorites there. You have Lindbergh at home taking on the Fort Zumwalt East Lions, and they're up 10-4. DeSoto, Warrenton, Evan, which we'll do this real quick. Evan, he's at an award ceremony. He'll be popping in here as well, too. Congrats on the awards, buddy. Evan's own very favorite Warrenton Warriors are down 4-2 to the DeSoto Dragons. Borgia, taking on Pacific, is putting a beat down on them right now, 7-0. Francis Howell, the Central Spartans, up 4-1 over Parkway West. Jackson, 4-0 over Webster Groves. And Zumwalt West taking on St. Dominic. That's a tough one right there. Up 3-0 over St. Dom. Early in, let me see where they're at. I don't think it's early. I don't think anything is early. Yeah, it's the bottom of the 6th. So, all right. So that's from kind of around the state. And everybody's kind of maybe getting a little warm-up game in here before we hit districts. Wednesday, districts really taking off in Class 5 and 6. Class 4 is going on. There's Class 1, 2, and 3 have been rolling since before the weekend. And we're going to catch up on some of this stuff, some of these games here. Now, we talked about this some time ago. I think we talked about it on this show, Joe. But Oran and St. Elizabeth. Now, Oran won the state championship last year in 2024. In 2023, St. Elizabeth won. In 2022, St. Elizabeth won again, beating Oran. In 2021, Oran won, beating St. Elizabeth. And in 2019, St. Elizabeth won the state championship. In 2018, Oran beat St. Elizabeth for the state championship. So since 2018, these two have pretty much been the best teams in Class 1. By far. They're beating each other up. We got Green City here in third place in 2018, and we saw Green City there last year. We're going to give you the coaches poll here for Class 1. The coaches poll rankings just came out. Joe and I were going through them before we came on the show here because we were looking at what they are compared to what I did. I posted last night, YBM's rankings, It's our final regular season top 20 rankings for Class 4, 5, and 6. They're up right now on youthbaseballmidwest.com. We'll look at some of those and compare them to what the coaches are saying. I do not look at what the coaches do first and go, oh, yeah, that's good. It's my own thought process. This is what I believe about the rankings. Now, we haven't done 1, 2, and 3 because I don't know enough about all the teams to really do that at this point. So we're gonna just, let the coaches help us out here, right? But they got Oran number 1 and St. Elizabeth number 2. Nobody's shocked. But this is the one that I think is going to be interesting, Joe. Over here in Class 4, or Class 1, excuse me, Class 4. In District 15, if if you remember, folks, it's been a few weeks ago now. We interviewed the head coach from Northland Christian, David Starnes, and they've been a hot team. They finished the season 22-6. They won their last 3 against Lathrop, East Buchanan, and Heritage Christian. They've had some big wins over quality teams. They beat St. Pius X in Kansas City, Mid Buchanan, who's 20-7, a Class 3 school, who was in the state Final Four last year, Joe. I mean, and they're, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to go back and look at this here. Yes, sir, I was correct. Mid Buchanan is the number 9 team in Class 3 according to the coaches poll, and they've got Northland Christian as a win against them. They've put up some stuff. They've beat Faith Christian Academy, and I think it's going to be an interesting scenario here when we talk about these two teams. Faith Christian Academy is 21-3. Albeit, I don't think they played as tough a schedule as Northland Christian. They lost to Northland Christian, and then they beat Northland Christian 1-0 in 9 innings. And so, you know, looking at this, I think I think this district is a coin toss. Personally, the 1-2 seed going to be duking it out. Both teams in the top 10. Faith Christian at 3 and Northland at 6. You have Wheatland and Atlanta. Wheatland 29-5, Atlanta 21-4. Atlanta, I'm familiar with some of those kids because we've seen some. They played some American Legion baseball over the last couple of years in the D2, and they win a lot there as well. So kudos to them. Green City, who finished 4th last year, is number 7, and I think they got a good shot to get back. We'll see what happens, but then the biggest thing you got to look at is how that sets up. Cooter High School, the Wildcats, have already punched their ticket to the sectionals with a win over, I don't know if it's Risco, R-I-S-C-O, or Risco. What would you say, Joe?
Risco, probably. R-I-S-C-O.
Yeah.
Risco.
And indicative of a state championship or a district championship game. It went 10 innings, and Cooter came out on top 6-4 in 10 innings. So it was a heck of a good championship game.
That's
Gotta
good.
love that stuff.
You love to see that for sure.
Right? Everybody competing. And when you look at Faith Christian here at 15, they're going to end up playing a Rockport team that's already punched their ticket to the district title game, 18-6. But I'll tell you what, who wants to play? Where are they at? St. Elizabeth in District 9 will get the winner of District 10 in the sectionals. And then Cooter and Cooter, the District 1, 2, 3, 4 are in that same bracket with St. Elizabeth. So who's in 3 and 4? Let's take a look. 3 is South Iron, which I have no idea who they are, and Galena. Galena, 9 and 10. I'm sorry, Galena. I don't think you got a shot, folks. I think Cooter, you know, you talk about there. District 6, you have Halfway, 22-9. Had a good season.
There you go.
Right? That's in District that's in District 6. And so when you're looking at District 6, that goes all the way down to, that's in the second, that's in the lower half of the bracket. So if I'm not mistaken, if you end up there, hang on one second. I'm going to see where Oran is. Okay, Oran is in District 2. So Cooter gets Oran. But you know what? Look at this, bud. This sets up one of these two teams, either Oran or St. Elizabeth, are not going to get to the championship game. If they run the table, they'll meet in the semifinals. They'll meet in the Final Four in the semifinal. Because they're in that top half of that bracket. They're in the top half of the bracket. So we're going to see the top two teams facing off. So I think it'll be interesting to see who. So I think you could see Northland Christian or Faith Christian Academy coming out of that side of that over there and making an impact in that district, man. At the bottom of that bracket. Green City could make an impact. They could get back there. I think that Atlanta in the bottom of that bracket. You got Faith Christian, Northland, Green City, Atlanta. You got some really good teams in the bottom of that bracket. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of Class 1 there. And that's already going. There's a lot of stuff happening. We're going to keep you posted on some of those things as we go along this week. These should be done. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you a lot of those by the end of the week, and we'll maybe do as we get into next week. Class 2, in my opinion, you got Valley Catholic sitting there. In the coaches poll, Valley Catholic is number 1 at 25-2. Maysville at 19-5. Chaffee at 19-3. Iberia 16-6. Putnam County 21-6. Miller High School at number 6 is 19-5. Van Buren, that's Brady Smith and that crew down there, 16-6 at number 7. Tipton 18-7, and you have New Heights at 17-6 and Bloomfield at 17-4. So that's where you're at with Class 2. I don't have a lot of information about Class 2, guys. I really don't. Sorry. We're going to work to get better. Although last year, let's look at this. We'll look at last season in Class 2. It was Iberia, so they were and Maysville in the state championships, Joe. So here you have in the coaches poll, Maysville is number 2 and Iberia is number 4. So these two teams were in the state championship game last year. Valley Catholic is sitting right there. And I think they would be on opposite ends of the spectrum when you're looking at districts. Let's get to Class 2. There it is. Purdy is number 1 seed. Let's see. How about Bernie High School? You ever heard of Bernie High School, dude?
I can't say I have, no.
They're the Mules. Van Buren is the 2nd seed in District 2. Chaffee is the 1 seed in District 3, along with Bloomfield. So, wow. 2 of the top 10 teams are not even going to get out of districts. Or one of those teams, because Chaffee is at number 3 and Bloomfield is at number 10, and they are on a collision course here in District 3. Ooh, doggies. There you go. Valley Catholic is going to be playing Brentwood. I got to give a shout out to my dude over there, the head coach, Andrew Baxter. He also coaches down. Works with the folks at the Southside Prospects. Big shout out to Coach Baxter. He's in the district finals. He's got, and for your reward, you get Valley Catholic. So good luck, Coach. Veritas Christian is the number 1 seed. That's the team over in O'Fallon, Joe. I don't know if you're familiar with the Eagles over there in O'Fallon.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about them before, I'm sure.
Yeah. Putnam County. Putnam. 21-6, number 1 seed in District 6. District 7, number 1 seed, Salisbury. I've had a Salisbury steak before. No?
Wonder if there's any correlation.
17-4 is Salisbury. Yeah, they've had a pretty good season. Pretty solid, you know. Westran, let's see. Westran is the number 2 seed, and they're 14-7. So, okay, we'll see. So the bottom half of that bracket is pretty wide open for Valley Catholic, in my opinion. Iberia is District 8. Iberia 16-6. Again, going there.
They got upset.
Yes, they did. They're already out. You're correct.
Yeah.
Harrisburg with the 2-1 upset over the number 4 team, according to the coaches poll in the state.
Oh, my.
Goes down. Check
Is
out
Harrisburg ranked, you think? Or jeez.
I didn't see they were not ranked. No. Shout out to Harrisburg, a 12-11.
Wow.
Comes up with the big upset in district play. Going to face Eugene, the 2 seed, which is 21-8 on the season. And so there's a big upset right there. That's huge, man. Ooh, I like to see that.
Yeah,
Some
wow.
upsets. Hartville at number 1 seed in District 9, 12-9 on the season. You got the District 10. We're just rolling through these. Why not? We'll have some fun. Comment below. Tell us what you think. If you're a Class 2, talk to us. We need some help. Hey, I feel like I'm in Kern County in California. There he is. What's up, Evan?
What's going on?
We're in Bakersfield right now, Kern County, California. No, actually, there's a Bakersfield, Missouri. They're 12-8 in District 10. We're going through District 2 right now, or Class 2 right now. Miller, Ash Grove. Now, here you go. Here's one. Remember this, guys? Ash Grove won the state title 2 years ago, going undefeated, 25-0.
Whoa.
Yeah. In 2023, Ash Grove beat Salisbury in the state championship game. Chaffee and Maysville were 3rd and 4th place. So you see a lot of the same names popping up here, right, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So Ash Grove is right there again, even though they may not have the best record at 13-10. They're back in the district championship game, taking on the number 1 seed Miller, who's 20-5. We'll see if they played each other. Did they play each other here? Yep, right there on senior night, Miller's senior night. They beat Ash Grove 4-2. So head to head, Miller's got the upper hand on Ash Grove. Interesting. District 12, Purdy will be the number 1 seed, gets through 11-1 over Blue Eye. New Heights Christian Academy is the number 2 seed at 17-6, taking on Purdy. Met those coaches at the clinic there, 17-10. Oh, you got a couple of 17-win teams going at it here. That's interesting, right? Wow, I like that. That's killer. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. That will be played tomorrow at 5 p.m. Purdy, New Christian Academy. Tipton. Oh. Tipton's in against Lincoln, R12, I think it is, over there. I know some of those kids. Talked to the coach. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I know it is. Dylan Cooper is the head coach over there at Tipton. And you got a couple of Cardinals going at it here at Lincoln. 12-15, they're in the championship game. So kudos for them. Will Lind. We saw his son Connor Lind play a couple years ago. It was a couple years ago in Sedalia in the state championships for Sedalia American Legion. Heck of a good ball player. Connor Spinagle, shout out. He's an assistant coach. He's also a head coach over there with Sedalia. So big shout out to Connor Spinagle. Good luck to you guys. I love that. We'll have to give them a shout out there, Lauren. Make sure we give that to those guys. I have no idea. St. Paul Lutheran, Concordia. Do you guys know where Concordia, Missouri is?
Is it in the Columbia area? Kinda. No.
What is it? St. Louis Metro? Oh.
Really?
Kansas City Metro.
Oh. Okay.
Lafayette County. Okay. 12-8.
I was going the right direction.
Playing Archie, the number 2 seed at 12-6. That I'm telling you guys, I think some of this bracket here, 15. Hey, look at this, Polo High School, POLO, 16-4 on the season, taking on North Platte in the semis, and then in District 16, there's Maysville, guys. There they are. 19-5, sitting pretty in the semis, number 1 seed. It'll be, I'd say they're probably going to get through it. District 2, so Chaffee, Tipton, usual suspects. It'll be interesting to see what gives there. Class 3, all right, fellers? You guys ready for this? Class 3, I think it's going to be interesting. The Licking Wildcats were the champs in 2023, 4th place in 2024. They're right back in it in the coaches poll. Licking is ranked number 8 at 20-8. So they have a opportunity, I think, to get back to another Final Four. Would you agree? You guys
Yes.
there?
District did you say they were in?
We're going to get there. I didn't say what district they were in. We're going to look at Licking the Wildcats. We're going to look at West County Bulldogs and Mid-Buchanan, Pembroke Hill, Lone Jack, Scott City, Fairgrove, Valley Park. I mean, this class is pretty loaded. Portageville, number 1 seed in District 1. We'll get a look at what the coaches said here. Lone Jack, the number 1 team in Class 3, 28-3. Number 2, West County, the Bulldogs. You guys know that's kind of right down the road here, south of us. And then you have Scott City, Fairgrove, Pembroke Hill, Valley Park. You guys know where Valley Park is, right? You've driven through there, I'm sure, Joe.
Oh, yeah, that's right by my house, actually.
Is it? There you go.
I never realized there was a school there until about a year ago, though. It's
Well, they're a Class 3 school, a small school. One of the few actually in the city that isn't a private school, right? Think about that. Valley Park's Class 3. You don't see that much in this area unless you're a private school.
Yeah, no, it's all the big public schools and then private. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
And they're 22-5. You got Stockton at number 7, 20-3. Licking at number 8. Mid-Buchanan 20-7. Conway 23-4. So we have West County Bulldogs, Mid-Buchanan were both in the Final Four last year. Looking for their second straight trip. Like I said, West County is number 2. Mid-Buchanan is at number 9. You also have North Callaway, who we've paid attention to. Lawson, Fatima. East Prairie is another one there. So let's take a look and see what districts these guys are in. As we said, Portageville, the Bulldogs, I think they could be a tough out, 21-9. They got Twin Rivers in the district championship game. Scott City Rams, best helmets in the business right there. They're going to get probably East Prairie. They're 18-5. Scott City is 25-2. I think that could be a heck of a championship game if they both get through. Can't count no chickens. They're supposed to both be playing today. We'll see if that comes out. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Scott City is playing Saxony. We had that update right here. We're going to give you that update right now. We are in the end of 6. Scott City's up 9-2 over the Saxony Crusaders. So they're well on their way to the championship game. I don't have anything from East Prairie here, so sorry about that. District 3, West County Bulldogs right there, guys. 23-2-1. Man, that's a pretty good record. That's a solid record. They play down south here, south of us, toward a little past South County. I'm trying to remember where they are exactly, but that's where they're from. They've played Notre Dame, Cape Girardeau. They've played Kingston, Jefferson, Festus. They've beat DeSoto. They've beat Herculaneum, Crystal City. They've beat Valley, Potosi. They lost to Valley Catholic. I'm not surprised. Beat Bismarck. They beat Portageville 6-1. They beat St. Jen, Central Park Hills. And in the MAA conference tournament, they won it, beating Central Park Hills, beating Fredericktown, and not to mention they beat Farmington, which is a Class 5. We have Farmington high up. They beat Farmington. So this is a very good team right here, this West County Bulldogs. I think that's going to be one to watch right there. I don't think they're going to have too much trouble either with St. Pius X Festus or Jefferson Festus. They beat both of them. So there you go. Please comment below. Let us know what you think. Here, Valley Park. Oh, guys, here we go. See, this is what's cool. That was played today at 4 o'clock. Guess who won the 1 District 4? That would be the boys from Valley Park. Congratulations. Give them a hand there.
Wow, there you go.
Come on, guys. Yeah, there we go. Valley Park beats Lutheran North 11-1 to punch their ticket into the next round of the state playoffs. 23-5, getting it done. So congrats to Valley Park, Class 3. They're through. District 5.
Is that the second team to get through that we've seen? Like the whole state?
Whole thing. Yeah. Cooter and Valley Park.
2 tickets punched. Wow.
Ka-chow. Ellsbury is the number 1 seed in District 5. No offense to Ellsbury, but I don't think this district is very strong. Ellsbury, we'll see how that all unfolds. District 6. Ooh. Okay, guys. We got a championship games being played tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Macon. Here's a team that I think could make some waves. 17-5 in District 6. They beat some very good teams. They got wins against Southern Boone. They got wins against Kirksville, Palmyra, who they're playing in the state championship. Or in the district championship. They beat 10-4 already. They've beat Fulton this year. They got some good wins. So I think Macon's probably going to come out of that against Palmyra, guys. District 7, North Callaway is the number 1 seed there. Montgomery County is the 2 seed. They're 13-7. I don't see North Callaway not coming out of that district. Fatima This is the way I like to say it, but I know it's Fatima. The Comets. I think they'll come out of that district just fine. Here's Licking, guys, in District 9. They've got Thayer as the number 2 seed at 9-7. Houston, the Tigers, at 12-12 in the 4 seed getting through. They'll have to beat them to move to that. We'll keep an eye on that. But I think Licking's got a pretty good hold on that there. Fair Grove is already in the district championship. Now here's one that's ranked, as we said. Fair Grove is ranked number 4 in the coaches poll at 24-5. I don't think we'll have much trouble with Fair Grove getting through. Conway, who's the 2 seed, is 23-4. Could be tough. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So that's shaping up to be a pretty good district championship, fellas.
Yes, sir.
District 11, Clever. Did you know that high school was very clever? Did you get that? Pun intended, fellas.
Oh, boy.
District 12, Stockton, number 1 seed at 20-3. So that's interesting there. 13, District 13, you have Windsor as the number 1 seed, and they are 21-7. Lone Jack, here's, I think, the best team in the state as far as Class 3, 28-3. Loaded. Ethan Rogers, the left-handed pitcher, going to Wichita State. Brett Nicholson, another left-handed pitcher. He's headed to Crowder. So you got 2 left-handed pitchers, one Division I, one Division I JUCO, Crowder, which is one of the top JUCOs. So you got 2 Division I arms, basically, on a Class 3 school, guys. Yeah.
And they're lefties. My favorite.
Your catcher is headed to North Central Missouri, JUCO, Landon Danuser. So you got some serious guys right there in that staff and whatnot. I think Lone Jack is poised to make a big run, but we can't count this out. Here's the fly in the ointment for Lone Jack. Okay, guys. Pembroke Hill, home of the Raiders. 21-6. They've beaten Class 4 Benton. They've beaten Class 3 Mid Buchanan, top 10 team. They've beaten Class 6 Rolla. They've beaten Class 4 Southern Boone. They've beaten, I think, Raytown South is Class 6 as well. Class 5 Winnetonka. They have beaten St. Michael the Archangel. Guess who they lost to? Shocker. You guys want to be shocked by something? Class 1 school.
St. Elizabeth.
You're correct. 11-7 in 9 innings. That was an 11-7 game in 9 innings. They swept the number 1 team in Class 4, Summit Christian, 6-4 and 9-8. They beat Warrensburg, Class 5 school, good solid Class 5 school. They lost to Odessa, and they lost their last 2, Odessa and Rockhurst. This is a team, Pembroke Hill, that I'm not so sure. It'll be interesting to see how Lone Jack. So we're heading towards one of the premier district championship games, no matter the class, in Lone Jack and Pembroke Hill. And that's May 21st. That's Wednesday at 7 p.m. So make sure if you get a chance to watch that one, folks, you do. Get out there and watch that one. That one will be interesting. That's District 14. District 15, Lawson is the number 1 team. Not surprised, 18-6. Carrollton, the number 2 seed at 17-7, another solid. Some really good teams not going to get out of these districts. And Mid Buchanan, the Dragons, 20-7, on their way, looking to get past Lathrop, which is no slouch. Lathrop is 14-12. They've had a decent season. West Platte, 18-4. I think Mid Buchanan is going to have a tough time in the semifinal and the championship game just to get out of that district. So, and not to mention, so what do you get for Mid Buchanan if you get out of that? Class 2, 14 or 15-16. You get Lawson if they get out of that. So it's no joke getting to the Final Four here in Class 3, guys. No joke at all.
Yes,
very
sir.
good stuff all the way around. All right, so we got through the small classes. Love that stuff. I know some people go, gosh, we don't know. It's good to get to know these teams. That's why we talk about it. It's why we do it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Please comment below. Let us know what you think of. If you're watching your Class 3 or 4 team, please let us know. Hey, guys, Kennett is up 2-0 over Dexter in that semifinal. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Dexter down to their last 2 outs. Kennett could be taking down the 1 seed in District 1. Ooh. That would be an upset. Would be an upset. Zumwalt East has come back and put 2 runs up. It's 10-6 in the top of the 7th. They have the bases loaded with 2 outs. Adler Krask is on the mound. And that's it. That's the game. 10-6. Lindbergh wins. There you go. Dude, Evan, your Warriors are down, buddy, to the DeSoto Dragons, 5-3.
They the players were telling me about that game. Coaches kind of wanted to schedule it to get some more live pitching right before district play. So not much to worry there. Don't really know who you're pitching, especially being so close to districts. So I'm not going to look into it too much.
No, you're just trying to keep your guys in the game. That's exactly what those are about. It's exactly what they're about. Absolutely. Borgia taking care of Pacific 11-0. I think that's an interesting one. All right, guys, Class 4. 2023, the Final Four consisted of John Burroughs winning the state championship, Springfield Catholic in second, Excelsior Springs, the Tigers in third place, Fulton Hornets in fourth. In 2024, last year, Blair Oaks beat Benton. Lutheran St. Charles beat MICDS for third place. Evan, I know we'll start with you. You got some Class 4 teams here that you've been following with the G.A.C. North. Talk to us a little bit about your take on Class 4 here.
Yeah, so a majority of the G.A.C. North, at least for Class 4, is in District 6 here. St. Charles, they took the win over Lutheran St. Charles, who, couldn't find that fire to make a run like they did last year. And they moved up and faced Duchesne earlier today, where they lost 4-2. They're the top dogs. They got bumped up to Class 4, and they're kind of trying to make a statement this year, saying that it's our house now. You move up from the kids table, and you try and rule the adult table. You know what I'm saying?
I like that analogy. That's cool, man.
Other than that, in District 6, Orchard Farms beat STEM Academy on Saturday 17-2. And then they got to face St. Charles West. They lost to them twice earlier in the season. We were there at the G.A.C. Classic in that great game.
Yeah.
And it was close. I was actually watching on Game Changer while I was setting in the sitting in the gym there waiting for the awards to start. And I looked away. I like clicked off for no more than 30 seconds, and Brady Kilker hit a walk-off two-run bomb for St. Charles West to advance to the district championship.
I
So
gotta give a shout out again, Brady Kilker, getting it done. I love that kid. He's a lot of fun, man. That's
it was,
huge.
yeah, it was a double. They hit into a double play. It was down to the last out. Sent it over the wall. So they'll face off against St. Charles or against Duchesne later on this week.
And what you're talking about, Duchesne coming into this, moving up in class, from 3 last year, the state champs, sitting at the big boy table and all that. This is the classic that because St. Charles West has ruled this district for, the last 5 years. I think they got 4 out of the last 5 district titles. They've been winning and winning and winning. This group of kids knows how to win. And I think that is the interesting thing here. I'm picking St. Charles in this district over Duchesne. I am. Just because, not that I think Duchesne is a bad team. I just think this group has been here before. They know how to win. You're probably going to see Gehrig on the mound. It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. And we got to jump in here. Mitchy the kid jumping in on us here right in the middle of it because Mitch texted me right when that happened. He goes, Kilker just hit her 2-run bomb.
Yeah, man. I was watching on Game Changer. I'm in doing lessons and trying to stay up to date for obvious reasons. And I had to text Titus right away from Orchard Farm and say, hey, man, tough loss. And he actually responded back. He goes, man, one of the best games I've ever been a part of. That double play to start the 7th, there was runners at first and second, nobody out. It was a bunt. Popped the bunt up and flipped it to second base to get the lead out. And they went 2-0 on Kilker, and wind was blowing out, and it was just enough to get over the fence. So, but that's what Titus said, man. He said one of the best games they've ever been a part of, and we played some good ones. If you can remember, he pitched that 1-0 a long time ago, and just wild.
Absolutely. And that's what I think, experience, as this, guys, you could speak to this, Evan, too. Experience matters in these situations, doesn't it?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, especially as you said with St. Charles West, they've been here before. They know the stakes of it's win or go home. Obviously, they showed it tonight, and I think they'll show it again against. I mean, Orchard Farm is a great team. I think the next year, they'll succeed a lot in the north, but Duchesne's the real deal, and they're here. So I think it's definitely gonna be either it's gonna be a 1-run ball game or it's gonna be a shootout. It could be either one.
I agree.
I'm interested in that game for sure. That's going to be a gem to watch. That Duchesne team, I think they have, moving up to Class 4. I'm not sure that the jump in district play is that big, based on some of the teams that they played last year, especially with some of the guys that they have inside that dugout. And again, you talk about winning cultures. Obviously, being a state champ, they know what it's like in pressure situations. And I think that's what you saw from Orchard Farm today. They got all jacked up off that double play. And, one of the things that he said is, was that energy just a little too much? And that's how he got behind 2-0 versus maybe taking a deep breath and, talking about learning opportunities for the head coach. Coach Sugar might go out after a situation like that next time to make sure his defense is relaxed and calm, or his pitcher, and, just make sure guys are good. And I think it's all a learning curve. Just sucks to learn at that time when you have a chance to close out a game.
Yeah, because you.
But I'm excited for that Duchesne game.
Yeah, you groove a pitch right there at 2-0 because you don't want to go down 3-0. You're as a pitcher, you're down and you groove one, and you leave it a little fat, and as you like to call the cookie jar.
Yeah, well, you know who was next, right? So
you don't want to face Gary.
No, Gehring is a guy, and they had pitched around him all day. I mean, I'm giving away. I probably, I don't know if Titus wants me to do this or not, but they pitched around him, which that was the game plan going in. Don't let the best guy beat you. But you had 2 outs and you had bags to play with. So if you pitched around Kilker, maybe you don't throw the cookie. Maybe you throw a pitch off the plate and try to let him get himself out. And if you walk him, do the same thing with Goring, or you just put him on and you have the bases loaded with, what do you give him the Barry Bonds treatment? He's hitting over 500 in that conference or on the season. Let somebody else beat you. And I know that there's guys that can, so don't get me wrong. That's playing with fire, and we know we get burned, but you don't have to give in 2-0 with a runner, with 2 bags open.
Exactly.
But we don't teach that,
Jackson just took a 5-4 lead. Webster Groves came back and tied this game. It's 5-4 in the top of the 7th. Jackson over Webster Groves. That's quite the game there. Kennett, I got to see here. End of the 7th. Here it is, guys. Kennett takes down the number 1 seed in District 1 of Class 4, 2-0. Kennett's one of those teams, man. I love that. That's an upset. They were the 5 seed, I think it was, or the 4 seed, takes down the number 1 seed, and now they're going to be facing. I think they're going to be facing Fredericktown in that next end of that. I got to go back and see. I'm sorry, guys. No, this is Class 4. So we're in Class 4. So Dexter was the number 1 seed. I had picked Fredericktown, the Black Cats, to win that district. And Kennett takes down the number 1 seed here, guys. And Fredericktown's got to face Notre Dame Cape Girardeau, which is not going to be an easy one. They're 14-13-1 on the season. And there you go, man. Another upset. We've been seeing upsets across the board here, Mitch. We've been going through this stuff. So, bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, we talked about Kennett a few times on broadcast when we were doing games. It was games to watch from these smaller schools, and most of the time Kennett was playing well. And you can only play your schedule, right? So, if they didn't have some of these premier teams on there, you don't know exactly what you have. So does the win-loss record indicate, truly what that team is if they had played themselves, a little better schedule than, others. So it's, being prepared. And you're starting to see that a lot in high school, to be prepared for these moments. And it's paying off for some of these guys. You saw that probably in the St. Charles West game. You're seeing it down there with Kennett.
Absolutely. District 2, guys, St. Genevieve, 12-9 on the season. The tough thing is they finished the season with 6 losses out of their last 8 games. It's not necessarily the best way to go into the playoffs. But their one win at the end of the season was against Perryville, 10-2, which was the 2 seed. Now, we don't know who was pitching in this district, but I still think St. Genevieve is going to come out of this district. Just my humble opinion. In District 3, if Lutheran South does not come out of this district, because the only other team is Afton no. Lutheran South comes out of District 3. We'll just leave that there. How about that?
No.
All right. Here's one for you guys. And this is the one I'd picked here. I had picked, and this is before I saw this. These games were played earlier today at noon and 3. This is District 4. I was picking Sullivan with Drake Gower to come out of District 4. I'm picking that. They beat St. Clair 5-0 earlier today at 3 o'clock. Owensville was the number 1 seed in this district at 13-9. I think because they had a win over Sullivan. So now they're going to be facing off in the championship of this district. Owensville taking on Sullivan. Anybody know about these teams?
I
I
don't
know
know
there's
much
not much information on.
about.
Go ahead, Evan. Start off.
Go ahead. I don't know much about at least their baseball program. I know that they Owensville and Sullivan, they may be a little small. Owensville kind of out in the middle of nowhere down there, but they definitely have some athletes, and definitely I think it'll be looking at their schedules and how they played over the season. I think it'll be a pretty good game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was trying to check out some information today. We have a young man that we train that comes out, plays for Sullivan and Chase Blue. And, I was trying to look at S.T.L. Day stuff, and I guess Coach hasn't put in much information for Sullivan. But, talking to him, they got some guys that he thinks that can compete and help win that district. So I think it's going to come down to, what do you have left offensively? Because I believe their number ones are going to be available for both clubs.
I think that could be a very good, interesting ball game. So I got Sullivan coming out of District 4. That'll be really interesting. Joe, do you think there's anybody there going to challenge MICDS in District 5?
Let me take a look at the bracket real quick here. I don't know. I mean, the only guy standing is Clayton.
That's correct.
It's Clayton, so I don't know. Obviously, you still have to show up and play the game and do your thing. But
here's the thing: Clayton has beaten MICDS on the season May 12th. This was just last week. MICDS lost to Clayton 5-2 in 9 innings. There you go. So you can't just count out Clayton here in this district, although I do have MICDS coming out of it. But I don't think it's a gimme, right? Just depends on who's on the mound. Let's see, when you look at Clayton, who's their guy, and is he going to be able to pitch? I think he probably will. I mean, because the rest of that district is not really that good, guys. It's just not. And Clayton, they've got a couple of starters, 35 innings. Nathaniel Booth, a 2 ERA, 35 innings pitched. That's not bad, guys, right there. You got Sam Rotzkoff with a 4.17. He's got 40 in a third innings. Henry Zucker, 30 innings, a 5.31. So the ERAs have gone up, but you got some guys. Nathaniel Booth, he's got 3-2 with 6 starts. And so that'll be interesting to see who gets that, if it's Nathaniel Booth or Sam Rotzkoff, who's got 40 in a third innings. And who gets that against MICDS. So that'll be interesting. I don't think that's gone, but I got MICDS coming out of that. Anybody else got a thought on that one?
Yeah, I don't see how MICDS loses this one. The 5-2 ball game, I'm assuming I don't know what high school does after the 7th. I don't know if they go to straight extras or if it was agreed upon, because I know that in tournaments and stuff, they can go to the international rules and stuff. So who knows how they broke that open or what they started that late in the game. So obviously it was pitched well going into that point. So I think with the Class 4, right, they all started on Friday, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Not everybody did Class 4 on Friday. In fact, there's a couple districts that haven't played at all.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
it just depends. It just
I
depends.
just made that assumption.
Yep.
You know what happens when you make assumptions, but yeah,
Oops.
if they both have their aces, who's deepest, and but I agree. I see that the MICDS team coming out of that.
Well, it wasn't Nathaniel Booth that pitched against MICDS, so I'm kind of looking to see who pitched against him, and it wasn't Sam Rotzkoff either. Wow, interesting. So I'm looking to see who that might have been. Was it Henry Zucker that pitched against? It was Henry Zucker. Pitched against MICDS, and he went 7 innings, gave up 1 earned run in that 7 innings. Zucker did against MICDS, and he looks like he's their third guy.
Wow.
Struck out 5 and walked 3. Opponent batting average, Mitch, 0. So the walks probably kind of did him in there, looks like,
Yeah, he had a no-hitter going. I mean, he gave up a earned run with 3 walks and 5 Ks. Those are wild stats to me, if you ask me. But
so Clayton's got a pitcher that can beat MICDS. We saw it right there. There you go. We'll see what it gives. District 6, we already talked about that with St. Charles West and Duchesne. District 8 is probably one of the toughest districts, no matter the class. Now, these are based on Youth Baseball Midwest rankings. You got that up still, don't you, Joe?
I do.
With District 8. So talk to us about Tolton, Southern Boone, and Fulton. Where do we have those ranked on the Youth Baseball Midwest rankings?
Yeah, so Father Tolton is at number 3 in all of Class 4. Southern Boone is number 7, and Fulton is number 8. So all 3 of those schools are top 10.
And when you look at the that just came out tonight, I pulled this up tonight, so I'm not pulling anything off of here. The coaches poll came out for May 19th, and they have Father Tolton at 4, Fulton at 5, and Southern Boone at 7. So we're right in the neighborhood with the coaches on this. Man, I mean, it's a coin toss in my opinion. Who gets out of this district? That's number 8. Sorry, we got to backtrack. We got to go to class District 7 first. My fault. I got ahead of myself, guys. I skipped over. So let's do that again. Let's look at District 7, Moberly, Boonville, Mexico. What do we got there?
You want rankings on those?
Yeah, for the Youth Baseball Midwest rankings on
So
Moberly,
Moberly's 2. And
Boonville?
then Boonville 14.
and then Mexico.
Mexico 18.
So I thought this was interesting. They've got in the coaches poll, they have Moberly at 3. I have them at 2. They got Mexico at number 9, which I was a little surprised. I thought they had a little bump. They've played very well. Don't get me wrong. I think Mexico, the Bulldogs, are a very good baseball team. And they have Boonville way down in receiving votes behind Seneca, Forsyth, Stratford, Benton, and then it's Boonville. Benton, I understand to a degree. Stratford, I don't. Forsyth, maybe. Seneca, yeah, I could see that. But Mexico in the 9, I don't know. I don't see that. But that's the coaches, and you're like, well, Brian, that's the coaches. Well, these coaches sometimes don't see all the teams either, and they're doing the best they can as well. I talk to a lot of coaches, and they're like, "Man, I haven't seen that team yet. You know, we do the best we can to see." And what they're in the same boat we are. And coaches hold on to information like it's gold. They got it locked away like Fort Knox. Am I wrong, Mitch?
No, some of this stuff's funny to me.
So
Yeah.
I just I've had Moberly at the top there. I think they're on a mission. I think Moberly still comes out of this. But here's the thing. You're going to have to – I mean, you got Boonville, Mexico, one of those two teams you're going to have to beat. You're still going to have to beat a good Kirksville team, which I think will beat Hallsville. But you're going to get Boonville or Mexico in that state championship game. And these teams have beat each other up all season long. Moberly, though, I think is the deepest in pitching. I think we'll have that over the other two, so I think that'll be interesting to see. So I got Moberly, guys. Any thoughts? Anybody?
You know, I was going through Max Preps, and Mexico is on a little bit of a heater.
Mm-hmm.
They actually beat Moberly recently, beat Fulton. So they got some big wins that propelled them into that space that they're in. So they've got some solid wins under their belt, so they can make it tough. I know that they got that young man that is a young kid that can play pretty well. I forget his name every time, but they got some nice stats on the season. Carter Pearson.
Yep. Yeah, he's a good lefty. Freshman, just a freshman too. And they've got some other guys on that squad that are playing very well for that team, I think, at Mexico. You've got, I think you got some senior leadership there as well, Mitch. That roster, you got seniors, Austin Maxwell, Samuel Ryan. They are heavy in seniors on that squad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 seniors on that roster for Mexico. So I think that's interesting when they got some experience, and that's why I think Mexico and Moberly will probably end up. I know Boonville's the 2 seed, but I think you're going to see. I think Mexico, as you said, a little bit of a heater. I think Boonville is still a little young. They got 4 seniors. They're relying on a lot of young guys. I think Mexico is primed to put themselves in that position. And Moberly is loaded with a senior class that's been playing just really good baseball for the last couple of years. And you've got Carson Fletcher, Jackson Engel, Mitchell Bruce, Cade Baum, Nolan Samuel, Max Richardson, the junior Ashton Hunt. And that's the thing. Nolan Samuel and Ashton Hunt are juniors. You've got some other guys that are younger that are helping out this team. And I just think they're going to be a very difficult team to beat. I think they're on a mission. You talked about that. You saw those kids a while back, if I'm not mistaken, on a fishing trip, right?
That was a hunting trip, of course. You're talking about the Moberly kids?
Yeah.
That group, that was a special group. When I saw them boys, you obviously know what you walk into a place and you can see somebody what they're wearing, right? You're like, these guys are baseball guys. I never met a stranger, so that's how that works. And then you just start, investing in conversation, and these boys were just all about the team, and making sure that they are together, and that's what you really love to see, and so that's what kind of wanted me to help root for that group, and it's going to be tough for them. I'm looking at Mexico's stats still, Brian, and I can't believe they played 32 games this year. You don't usually see that out of small school. They got kids with over 100 plate appearances. That's going to help them for district play.
Oh, absolutely, Mitch. Absolutely.
I didn't realize some of these smaller schools played like that.
When we talked to Coach Boyer from Moberly, that's what he said. I think they played about a similar type of schedule, but he said, I have the pitching to be able to do that. He said, I don't normally. He said, but we had the pitching depth to play that kind of schedule. And I think that's what it really boils down to, Mitch.
Yeah, you have to have that. And I know that you had you rattled off some Moberly stuff. I got some Mexico stats in front of me, and they got guys with some big innings too. So clearly, both those two clubs have the depth. They got a young man, and his last name's Dement. I don't know what year he is because it doesn't say. But this dude's got one of those guys that could just rake. His overall numbers are sitting like 485, 10 doubles, 7 triples, and 2 jacks.
Ooh.
49 hits on the year. And 36 ribbies. And I don't really care where you're at and what level you're playing. To be able to have 36 hits in a season, or 40, excuse me, he has 49 hits in the year. That is impressive no matter what level you play and what skill you play, because I think it's hard, to obviously get hits because of the, playing against 8 guys in front of you. So those are ridiculous numbers.
Yes, they are.
Quite impressive if you ask me. I'm looking for Moberly's as we try to talk just to try to help. And I'm assuming you're getting ready to move on.
We're going to District 8. That's okay. We're Tolton, Southern Boone, Fulton. I still think Tolton comes out of this. Lucas Weedholder, the kid going to SLU, Matthew States, Liam Newman, Joseph Craig, excuse me, Alex Frost. We saw a lot of these kids last year. I think this is a really, really good team. I think they're primed for a pretty good run. Even though Southern Boone and Fulton are there, Southern Boone's still a little young, but you can't count out Coach Ash with any team. Coach Ash is this is Kevin Mulder's. I love his trivia, Missouri high school baseball coaches trivia. Brian Ash is the only coach to have won state titles with three different classes in the state. That's impressive. That's cool. Impressive. So you can't count out Southern Boone. I would never do that. Fulton on the they've struggled down towards the end here with some big losses. So I think that will be interesting to see what we get from that. Fulton, as I said, they've strung some losses here. They've lost 4 out of their last 6. They lost to Mexico. They lost to North Callaway. They beat Eldon, lost to South Callaway, lost to Booneville, and lost to Macon. So there you go. I think that'll be interesting to see how they did. And they've strung some wins together. Fulton's a very difficult team. I think they'll be ready to go there. But I still think Father Tolton comes out of that district again right there. So I'm going to wing through these real quick. Blair Oaks, of course, I think is going to get through District 9. District 10, I think Nevada is going to come out of that. District 11, Seneca. I don't think Forsyth is good enough to take down Logan Rogersville. I could be wrong. I don't think so. Odessa, I think Odessa beats Knob Noster just because they are the host. I think they win at home. District 14, I think the number 1 team in the state, Summit Christian, gets through. And in District 15, Benton, who got off to a horrific start. Benton they won their first 2, but then they lost 3 in a row. They won 3 in a row, then lost again, 1-1, lost, 1-1, lost. They've strung it, and then they got hot, and they've strung together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins in a row before losing their last game to Savannah. And I think it was just kind of one of those, we're playing just to get some. But they're 11-1 in their last 12. So I think Benton has found themselves with some good wins. over some really good teams, and it'll be interesting to see how well Benton, who was in the state championship game against Blair Oaks last year, will they get a shot? They're going to have to get through, I think, the Savannah Savages, which they've played twice. They've split with Savannah. I think Savannah's coming out of District 16 over Chillicothe, although Chillicothe is very good. The Hornets, they're 17-12 on the season. They've scuffled over the last, losing 4 out of their last 5 games. They've lost to Benton. They've lost to Kirksville, lost to Lafayette St. Joe. They did beat Savannah, and then they lost to Savannah. So, again, I think Savannah's coming out of that. The Savages. Gotta love it, man. So there you go. We want to try and keep moving on. I don't want to get too long in some of this stuff. Class 5. Festus won the state championship in 2023. Willard 2024. District 1, we already have an upset in District 1, guys, right? With Kennett moving on over Dexter. That was Class 4. I'm sorry. Gosh, my brain. We got Farmington in District 1. Is the number 1 seed. Everything's going to start Wednesday here, okay? Festus, the number 3 seed. Hillsboro, the number 2 seed. Mitch, what do you think of that?
Well, you know where I'm at. I don't put the time in that you do, so I mean, I know what some of these guys have just from, paying attention to Legion Ball and some of these guys trickling to that space. But I'm gonna let you have that conversation until we get more into the St. Charles area and St. Louis area. It is what it is, but the only reason I have some of these other dates or other conversations is when we do games, you ask me to keep score, and look at these scores. So I get familiar with them, and Hillsboro's a team that we would look at, and it'd be a must-watch game or something of that nature, and they would be right there, either winning or it's a close ball game. And in district play, that's what you have, and I think this stuff comes down to one play, and I think I can say that universally when it definitely gets into your semifinals and finals. And I think what happens at this time of the year, it's who's playing the best right now. Could end up taking, some of these games.
Well, we saw Festus against Lindbergh last week, and
that was fun.
It was a fun game. Jack Polite walks it off in the bottom of the 7th with a bomb. Festus, that's kind of where their game has been all year. They're 14-1. They just kind of, just find a way to lose some of those games, and I think that's interesting, and that's why I think Farmington, who's beat them, I think, and why they're the number 1 seed. Here's the thing too. Here's the kid for Farmington. I'm going to get here. Give me just 1 second. I should have been there earlier. Boom. Farmington is deep in pitching, guys. It's not like you got this kid Jack McDowell who only has 8 innings, and I think he's been hurt offensively. He had a .88, but I don't know if he's coming back or not. Aiden Redmond, name to watch. 8-0. 4 complete games, 45 in the 3rd innings. He's got a .24 ERA. Cooper Tripp, 23-7, or 23 2/3, 4-0 on the season, a complete game, a .48. Bryce Bloom, 11 in the 3rd innings, a .85. Ty Wampler, 20 innings, 2.1 ERA. Trevor Sutherland is trending on the upward side, 19 in a 3rd, 4.34 ERA. They've got depth in their pitching, and if they get the McDowell kid back, and I don't know what his issue was or whatnot, this team can pitch. And not to mention with Farmington, They're scoring runs. They got Jack McDowell is still hitting the baseball. He's hitting 400 with a 525 slug and a 473 on base. He's got 25 runs scored, 6 doubles, 2 triples, and 16 ribbies, while Cooper Tripp is second at 391 with 22 runs batted in and 31 runs scored. You got Aiden Redmond, the pitcher, 14 runs scored, 19 ribbies, 6 doubles, a triple. You got another Tatum Tinsley hitting 348, Jack Blackman hitting 333, Noah Brennan hitting 333. So it looks like they're about 7 or 8 deep in this batting order, guys. That looks pretty solid, and it looks like a team that can compete at a high level.
Yeah, looking at them offensively, you look at like a guy that might have 70 plate appearances. They're hitting 3-something, and it's like, wow, that team is deep offensively. It's deep defensively. And, watching Festus the other day, I thought that they had, some players, and we obviously talked about Brady Nolan as that guy, and
Yes.
can they pitch well enough in that particular game to allow the guys that can swing it for, Festus to do their job. But, again, looking at some of the numbers on paper, you would say Farmington 100% has that edge, is how deep they are. I don't think Festus can swing with them. Their best guy can swing with anybody in the state. The dude's got, we talked about big numbers, 45 hits on the year, and he's got, 10 doubles, 8 triples, 6 homers. He's got more extra base hits than singles. So that's always stuff that's interesting to me. I didn't think that they could compete with Lindbergh, and they did. So,
Right.
do you throw a guy that just misses barrels? And, sometimes throwing that soft athlete is the guy that you need. And that's probably what's going to happen for Festus if they get that deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. It really falls off after Nolan and Smith in that lineup, And they're young, though. Festus is very young. I think they're a year away still. Just looking at it, they're getting this. I love the kid at second base, Cooper Shilley. That kid played his hiney off on defense, man. And really, I like this team. I think they're really good. But I think they're still youthful, and we'll see what happens. But I got Farmington coming out of that one. I'm gonna let Joe take here District 2, 3, and 4, because I think you got some pretty good stuff within that framework there, starting with your boys over the Griffins.
Yes, sir. Class 5, District 2. So I'm not sure what other guys are thinking, but I think they're at least making it to the championship. I'm talking about Vianney, of course. A team that I think could give them some trouble, though, is John Burroughs. And that is, of course, if they're able to save their number one through 2 games into the championship.
I think they could.
It's not like it's a tough district. No offense to anybody.
Hazelwood East. Webster Groves, you may end up facing, but that if you get Sturgeon, but he may, if he can save Sturgeon, Webster Groves can beat John Burroughs, and if you can save Sturgeon for Vianney and give them some trouble, that'd be interesting, right?
No, you're absolutely right. Obviously last year they made it all the way to the Final Four. Maybe a bit of a Cinderella team. I don't know.
I don't think they got to throw anybody fantastic to beat St. Mary's Southside and Gateway, to be honest.
No, sir. No, sir.
No offense to the Southsiders at 2-11, but I just don't see that. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting there.
Absolutely. It's going to come down to depth.
And then but still, it's Vianney, right?
Yeah, well,
It's beyond.
assuming we have who we need. assuming they have who they need.
You can't get cocky though, right?
No, you still got to show up and play. I mean, Windsor Imperial or U City. I mean,
Do you think Vashon's got a chance? Should they run their basketball team out there?
I was I was thinking about this. I mean,
They probably did.
maybe if you
Brian.
just have some. oh, boy.
Oh man, I'm terrible. That's bad. My fault.
It is what it is. You're only. I mean, come on. If people take that comment too serious, that's ridiculous. It's exactly what it is. I mean, I love where that went. To be quite frank, to give some love to Bashan and what they're trying to do in this position and compete. So just happens to be they're going to run into a monster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But they're the monster
No
in
doubt a bad
basketball. That's
first
why I
round.
brought it up.
yeah,
They are. That's the thing, So I don't know, man. But whoever is in District 1, Farmington, right? Coming out of there, you got the best 2 out of 3 here, Joe. And let's just call it that. Either Festus and I think Festus, I don't know that Hillsboro, I like Hillsboro, but does somebody coming out of District 1 really do they match up pitching wise? We just saw what Farmington had. Festus has got dudes that can pitch. Jackson Smith we saw, and he looked pretty good too, didn't he, Mitch?
Well, I mean, you saw what. I think he looked good. It just so happens to be Lindbergh is a good hitting team.
Yeah.
And so that's what Vianney's going to be. So, how well is he going to be against a team like that? And if they get there, I'm with you, though. I don't see it's got to be Farmington. That's the only team in that district that's going to give Vianney an issue.
I think so. District 3.
oh yeah.
Take it away, bro.
Ooh. District 3. Oh yeah, I like looking at this one because I'm sure like 2 weeks ago everybody was like, "Yeah, Summit," right? Like you could almost chalk it up. But I would like to point out Westminster Christian. I think they're one of the hottest teams in the state right now. I mean, if you look at their last 8 games, they're figuring it out on all sides of the game. They got a sweep against SLU, took down Festus, took down MICDS, snapped Vianney's win streak. I mean, they're just doing their thing.
16-3 since April 12th.
Yeah.
That's big.
They definitely have momentum, if that counts for anything.
I've been on a roll myself.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, with guessing the
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, right? Westminster, you look at the pitching for Westminster, I think that's a huge part of it. Ethan Martin, 34 and 2/3 at 1.01 ERA. You've got Asher, I guess that's Waitkus, 5-1, 3 complete games. Ethan Martin has 3 complete games, 38 and 2/3, a 1.27 ERA. You've got Jake Keene, 23 and 1/3, 3-1, 2.7 ERA. You've got Tristan, looks at Lauer, yeah. 18 innings, 3.5 ERA, 3-2. It kind of goes down. You got Grady Arnold's got 25 innings. He's 1-1, 4.76. You've got guys 11 and 1/3. Owen Lane Gang, 4.32. They don't have anybody over 5 except for the one guy that's got 4 and 2/3 innings, but one guy. The rest of everybody, that's a deep staff, guys that get people out. Yeah, you give up some runs here and there, but Westminster has found their way. And when you start looking at depth and roster, I think when you talk class 5 and 6, to me, this is where it begins and ends, because you got 2 out of 3 once you get out of districts. You got to get out of districts, and can you do that? They have enough arm talent here, in my opinion. District, I think they can compete with Summit. Summit is very good. Don't get me wrong. Summit is unbelievable. And when you look at Summit, you're talking about some of the same things here in the sense of pitching wise. I think they're guys. You've got Blaine Branscombe, 19 innings, $184. Evan Wade at 10 2/3, $197. Gabe Seave, who's just pitching phenomenally. He's 4-0, 2 complete games, 43 innings, a 2.12 ERA. Wyatt Schneider, 25 innings, a 2.52. Zach Halem, 18 1/3, 2.67. Cam Mosier, 35 innings, 2.80. He's 6-0. He's got 1 complete game. Gabe Seave has 2 complete games. These are 2 pitching staffs that are primed. I would love to see these 2 in a best 2 out of 3, right?
Yeah. Well, they could meet 1 round later, right?
Right? This would be a fantastic 2 out of 3, man, between Summit and Westminster. Let's go. Come on, man. Let's do it. I love that. My goodness. That's why I think this one is a toss-up. I don't think you can go wrong with either pick, Summit or Westminster. And I think they're both going to end up in the championship game facing off against each other. I am going to pick my Colts, Parkway Central, over Ladue, though, to get in there. And Parkway Central's not going to be an easy out for Rockwood Summit. And I don't think Pacific is going to be an easy out for Westminster Christian. And you're going to have to throw bullets at both of those teams. But depth-wise, does Pacific have it after Jake Collier? What do you think?
Let me check it out.
I'm always curious about these, why he's looking that stuff up on what these programs are going to do in their first rounds. You know, you have Chaminade and Westminster going. You know, can they throw off to be able to save their 2 big horses at the end? You know, is Summit going to throw off against Parkway? What are these guys going to do? You know, do you start one of them and limit his pitches so that he can come back 2 or 3 days later? I'm always interested in seeing how these bit larger schools that might have 2 really good guys, but not that third, that what I would consider like an elite starter. It's going to be interesting. I like the Westminster pick, especially since they're playing good baseball. The losses that Summit has on the year are losses that, you know, they don't have any bad losses on the season. All of their losses are actually good loss. I mean, if there's such a thing as a good loss, they have competitive losses. So that's going to be an interesting matchup if those 2 teams make it.
Yeah, I agree. Pacific, though, what do you got for me, bro?
Yes, sir. So obviously you mentioned Jake Collier as a big starter for them, but another guy is Bennett Parker. 48 1/3 innings with a .72 ERA, 7-1. Wow.
But look at that, though. Tell me, who else do they have besides Collier and Parker?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, that'll probably be their issue. I see Lucas Dorer, I believe is how you say that. But I mean, he's got 2 starts, so I don't know.
He's got 11 innings. That's it. The next closest, Bennett Parker has 48 1/3. Collier 36 1/3. The next guy closest is 11 innings. I'm telling you, this is one of the reasons why it'll be interesting. I just don't think Pacific has enough. Whether they get out of the district or not is one thing, but then you go to a best 2 out of 3, and you're in
We
district,
got two.
right? And you're in District 3.
Got to win
You
them
got,
both.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I get it. And don't get me wrong, one of those two guys can definitely beat Parkway West. And if you throw all your bullets, though, who do you have for the championship game? Your best bet is to throw off against Parkway West, and if you do that, you might get beat. I could see him throwing.
Yeah, I think that's what's and when looking at their schedule, it's almost a little misleading, if you will. I don't know that they've played anybody. I know they got some okay wins on the season. They beat Orchard Farm, they beat Timberland, they've I think beat DeSoto, but give me some of the wins that are quality wins for that team. Are they set to compete against this group or this district? That's going to be interesting because I don't know that they've ever faced offenses like this.
No.
I know that you can only play your schedule, but at the end of the day, like looking at it's kind of tough.
But you look at this schedule the way the coach put it together. They got a loss to Marquette, a loss to Union. They're only, I think they got, they beat Sullivan, okay, Class 4. They beat Owensville, okay, Class 4, not bad. But their only real big win is Timberland. That's my opinion. I don't have Pacific to me is an enigma in this whole thing. That's why I can't say they're going to get past Westminster Christian. I don't see it. Even with those guys on the mound, I don't see it. So there you go. District 4, Evan, Warrenton is the 3 seed. I think that is due to the fact that they lost the marathon to Fort Zumwalt East. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a 16 inning game. You got your seventh, eighth string pitcher in there by the end of it. So I talked to some of the boys about that game, and after it got through about the 12th, they were just begging for it to end. So, but yeah, District 4, you know, you got the big dogs up at the top, St. Dom. I think they're going to walk to the championship game, and it's really going to come down to, a little bias here, but I still think it's going to come down to between Fort Dumont East and Warrenton. But the problem I'm going to see here is, Warrenton, they take Fort Dumont South in the first round. They're on a very, very down year. And as I wrote about in my article, they had Fort Dumont South knocked Warrenton out last year. So I think they're definitely going to come with a little extra fire and get that game over with. But the question's going to be is in this bracket here, where's Carter Martin going to pitch? Where's Hollingsworth going to pitch at? Because you got to think about, no offense to any of the rest of the pitchers on Warrenton like Jake Kirkpatrick, but St. Dominic it'll be a test, and you're definitely going to want to have your best guy on the mound for that. So I think it's going to come down to in that second round game if Fort Dumont East and Warrenton make it there, who they're going to pitch and who's really going to make it out of that.
I don't think either team has anything really to worry about. McClure North or, Zumwalt South. I know Zumwalt, but they're down. I don't think you're going to see Martin or Hollingsworth. I think you're going to have to see those guys in that semifinal, which begs the question, what do you got left for Dominic? And that becomes a it's one of those, we got to get there first. And I think that's where they're at once you get to that place. In my estimation, I agree. I still think Dominic comes out of this. I do, guys. Just because the simple fact that East and Warrenton are good, they're going to beat each other up.
Yeah, I totally agree. it's having that path that you have to go through each other. You know, the two other probably top dogs in the district that it kind of sets you up for failure there going into that championship round.
Yeah, and I'm going to be rooting for East, just so you know, Evan.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. It's the way I roll. I am a homer. I will say it. I say it openly. I root for East. There you go. Right, Mitch?
No, you do. I'm interested in that East Warrenton game. That might be one that I wish we could suit up and go watch, because to watch Martin pitch and that Hollingsworth's going to go, that it's probably going to be a whale of a game, and that would be fun. And you're right in saying who goes next. Do you throw Poundalfo, who has pitched well for them this year, or do you go him first game and Page that if they were assume they were able to beat Warrenton? But I think Warrenton's going to. I mean, that Martin is the real deal.
Yeah.
And I don't know if East can beat him. I mean, obviously he has to be off, but if he's going to flip that curveball up there, we've seen East struggle against off speed, and Martin has himself a dirty slider. One of the best in the area.
Yeah. The one thing that's interesting to me is you have Pandolfo. Not to mention, don't forget the sophomore. These are two sophomores. Kevin Morgan, who's pitched very well for East as well. It's not just they have the senior Aiden Horn. East has some guys, some bullets there that they could pull out. It just, you don't want to keep going and going. You don't want that 16-inning marathon like you had the last time around. I think that gets that would be a little detrimental to the effort on both sides, because I don't think Warrenton wants that either. And with both of those guys going, that's going to be a difficult thing. And when you look back at this game, you had it looks like they had Pandolfo start that game. Tyler Clethermus pitched. Kevin Morgan pitched. You had Keaton Young, Quentin Myers, and Keegan Lemkel and Colin DeSylvester pitching for Warrenton in that marathon of a 7-6 ball game in 16 innings. So neither one of the top guys threw in that game. So maybe we get another something like that. Maybe we get a Kevin Morgan against a Keaton Young, something of that nature. And maybe they're doing that. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I think that's a fun thing to talk about there. Either way, that's the game of the district in up to the championship game. Personally,
That should be the championship game. I'm not taking anything away from St. Dominic. I really like what Coach Hill's got, and then this Martin kid is just really fun to watch. I'm glad that we got a chance to do the game that he pitched in. I'm gonna give a little shout out to your Lions again, though. Lonnie Land's back too, which he was hurt all year, and so that's another big bat for Tomwell East. So that could be interesting to have the depth in their hitting to add another guy like Lonnie Land.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You ain't kidding. It takes a little bit to get your eyeball back, though, Mitch. You know that. So that'll be interesting to see.
Well, he's 2 for 4. He's 2 for 4 in the 4 ABs he's got with 2 ribbies. So I'll take it.
So, hey, you know what? They competed very well. They lost 10-6 to Lindbergh, but scored 6 runs on Lindbergh. I mean, offensively, East can score runs. It'll be the pitching. That's where it ends up being. But then when you get District 4 taking on District 3, You know, you got 3 and 4, Westminster Summit taking on a St. Dom or East or Warrenton. All those things look up. We're going to push this a little quick because we're getting really long on time, guys. We'll probably finish District 6 on Wednesday with Kevin Mulder. I know you got some thoughts on that, Joe, because of, where you're at with CBC and DeSmet, but we'll probably have to catch that up because we're getting real long here, guys, and I don't want to bore our folks here a little bit. But District 5, I'm taking Jeff City, guys. I think Jeff City in District 5 is going to go over, and that's taking them over Union. I think Warrensburg is a good, solid team there. Helias Catholic is the 3 seed, always tough. Willard, I don't think there's really anybody to challenge Willard in in District 6 except, well, I'm going to take that back. Marshfield and Springfield Catholic, they're going to beat each other up. This is kind of like the East Warrenton matchup here. I think Marshfield and Springfield Catholic will beat each other up in that semifinal game. And then what he got left for Willard, good luck with that. That's what I believe. Similar toss. I think District 7, it's a toss-up between Webb City and Carl Junction. I think it's a pick-em. I don't think Carl Junction's 22-9. They've been playing really good baseball all season. They've been winning. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're 8-2 in their last 10, with wins against Republic. They've beat Marshfield. They've beat Bolivar. They lost. Their only losses to Nixa there, and then Bishop Kelly from Tulsa, Oklahoma. They beat Neosho. They beat Seneca. They beat Joplin. I think Carl Junction is a pick-em, but Webb City's been playing pretty good baseball recently. They've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've won 7 out of their last 3. There you go. So I think it's a pick 'em. I think that I really do. I am not quite sure who's going to come out of that. The last one is the district that I think has got the most talent across the board. Number 3, Smithville. Number 6, Platte County. And number 15, Kearney. I'm taking Smithville in this one, but I think Platte County can beat them. I think Kearney can beat them. But again, here you have that situation. Now, Smithfield doesn't have an easy one because 4-5 matchup, St. Pius X has got pitching depth. They're 16-11. Lincoln College Prep at the 5 seed is 16-8. So one of those two teams is going to move on. So Smithfield doesn't have just this, I get to go to the championship game. No. Platte County, Kearney are going to beat each other up. I think this is going to be a tough district all the way through. If Smithfield gets out of that, I think they are one team. I think it's one of those teams that could beat a Vianney. I think they're that good. I really do. I think you have Smithville and Willard, but in the end, when you look at that and you look at the Class 5, District 7 and 8, District 6 and 5 play each other in the best of 3, and Willard, if anything, if comes out of that against District 5, which would be the Jeff City, you got Jeff City Willard in that District 5, District 6 matchup. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's big-time stuff. Whoever comes out of that gets Vianney, because I don't see Farmington, but I just don't see them doing it. I think Vianney's there. That'll be interesting. District 8 coming out gets District 7. That's either Carl Junction or Webb City. I think they move through. And you have 3, 4, Summit or Westminster, St. Dom East or Warrenton. I think you're looking at those there. That's good stuff. I think it's going to be a very difficult. I think it's going to be an interesting Class 5, guys. But I want to do that. We've gone almost 2 hours here. Did you know that? I didn't notice, me personally, because I like talking baseball. So
Yeah, we were having fun. So
I hope the people enjoyed it. I hope. Look, that's what we got. I got Farmington, Vianney, Summit or Westminster. Pick one. I think I still like St. Dom just because East and Warrenton are going to have to beat each other up. Jeff City, Willard, Carl Junction. I think I'll take them. Smithville. There you go. Comment below. Let us know what you think. If I'm crazy, let me know. We'll talk about it. Guys, thanks for coming in, tuning in. Appreciate it. Mitch, appreciate you jumping in, buddy. We'll talk more baseball come Wednesday. Tomorrow, don't miss it. We will have our live tournament wrap-up show. Tomorrow afternoon, we're back. Mitch will be back. We'll be back on the Hitting Zone. We got a fun topic for you. Tuesday coming up tomorrow. Yeah, baby.
Buddy, I am fired up.
He likes that better than what we're talking about today.
Well, you might want to take all of the publications off. All of the supporters. I am ready to go to tomorrow's conversation.
Don't miss the Hitting Zone tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll join Mitch on his podcast. We got a fun one to talk about, so don't miss that. Wednesday, we'll have Kevin Mulder back on. We'll finish up some of this. We'll finish up definitely Class 6. Don't miss Missouri baseball talk. Thursday, we got Diego Solares coming on. We'll be talking Illinois baseball. We talk playoffs on the Illinois side. Great week of conversation before we hit Memorial Day, before we hit the break, and everybody takes a big sigh, and we're headed right back into it. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hey, for my guys, Joe Hartke, Evan Schenck, Mitch Thomas, we appreciate you joining us tonight, guys. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, what do pitchers do, guys?
I was letting the younger guys go. I talk too much.
I'm torn between focus on the next pitch and never give up a free base runner.
Mitch, which one would you take? Both?
Both. You can do both. You might as well. You could do both in one specific place. So I like that.
Scott City punches their ticket into the championship game, taking care of Saxony Crusaders 9-2. All you hitters, Evan, give it to them. What do they got to do, bro?
Swing the bat. Stop taking balls. Swing the bat.
You like that one, Mitch?
Stop taking strikes. You can take balls all day long. Just don't take strikes. I'm just kidding.
Oh, folks, I love it. Swing the bat. That's right.